Hi everyone, today I'm going to do a seascape, something different for you, but not different for me. I've done many seascapes in the past, and I have some followers that said to me, can you please do a seascape? So that's what I'm going to do. This is 300 GSM watercolour paper, it's Arches and it's cold pressed. Now I've just given it a light spray of water, and I'm going to now pick up some cobalt turquoise. This is an underwater scene, and my aim is to keep it fairly light towards the top, where the light would be coming through the water, and towards the bottom getting darker, some darker colours towards the bottom. The size of the paper is A3 and it is taped down. So bringing that down to about halfway, and just adding some darker colours just there, just so that I get a nice variation coming through. I'm going to pick up some phthalo blue now. Just dropping that in. So I'm using a 1-inch brush. This is an angle brush, but there's really no need to use that. You could use any large brush. I'm looking for a light shaft coming down. Just making sure that you can see what I'm doing there. I think I picked up a little bit of ultramarine blue by accident in the middle, but I am going to use ultramarine blue. So much darker down the bottom. I'm just going to get some ultramarine blue now. And I'll just pop that down. I'm just going to hit. So I've loaded on the ultramarine blue and I'm just hitting my brush to get some splatters. Same with the phthalo blue. Now, because the paper is so wet, that's going to disperse really nicely. And again, just leaving that shaft of light towards the top of the work. Now, I need it to be a little bit darker down the bottom, so I'm going to pick up some indigo. Sorry, I think I picked up Payne's Grey there, so we'll just get that indigo from here. It's very hard to tell when they're so close together when they're dry. So just like a U shape around the bottom. And again, I'm going to get some water there and some of the indigo and some splatters just down here. Now I'm going to pop some rock salt on there. This is just rock salt. Use rock salt or sea salt, either of those is fine. And it's going to give me some lovely textures. So I'm just going to let that dry naturally. I'm not going to use a hairdryer, and I will come back to you soon. Here we are, we're all dry. I've taken the salt off. To get the salt off, which tends to stick to the paper a little bit, I just hold it over the garbage bin and just work it off. It comes off pretty easily. It does get stuck in places. Best thing to do is just feel it with your fingers. A little bit there, just give it a little scratch and take it off. So I need this to be a little bit richer, because enabling the jellyfish to stand out, I need it to be quite dark behind. I'm going to add another layer of paint. So I'm using the same colours plus some phthalo turquoise. So I'm going wet on dry now, and I'm aiming not to work into the underneath layer too much, because I don't want to activate the underneath layer. I just want to add a glaze of colours over the top. There's plenty of water in this paint. A little bit of water just to help it run. Now the marks that I made with the salt will show through. Because this is just a glaze, plenty of water in the paint, softening off any edges like I did earlier with some water. So a little bit darker towards the outside edges, or a little bit stronger in colour. Now I'm going to add some of the phthalo turquoise, just dropping it in. A little bit of splatter. So it's a nice runny mix. Okay, a little spray of water. And I'm just going to tip my board. I'm tipping it away from me and just letting the paint mix together. Just using some clean water on my brush. And just helping that run towards the top. So just creating some shafts of light coming down. And we'll let that dry. What I'm going to do now is make some organic shapes, and for that you need some water. I'm just getting some water here, and we can pick up some, this is phthalo blue, these little pipettes are really good. Some indigo. Okay, we'll give that a little squeeze around. I think we could have a bit more pigment in there, so I'll just grab a little bit more of that. Okay, so just using the pipette again to suck up some colour and just drop it in, so that you've got a little puddle. What I'm going to do now is just use a straw. I'll just try and get this a little bit closer for you so that you can see. And you're going to get these lovely, beautiful organic shapes like seaweed. Blow the other way. And you can do those in a variety of colours. I would stick with something in the same harmonious range. You can also just find yourself a script liner, which is just a brush with very long bristles. Some people call them a rigger, and you can use that to pull out some shapes. So I'm going to add some more of those and come back to you soon with the final look. Okay, so now I'm going to just add some other markings. And for that, I can just use my fingers . Just little patting. Still finding little bits of salt here and there. Picking up a little bit of the phthalo turquoise. And just using something like a toothpick, just grab one of those. Just to add some more organic lines. And I think that that's probably enough. We'll let that dry and we will paint some jellyfish. Hi everyone, you can see by the state of my hands it's a pretty messy way of painting. But anyway, what you need now is a 3/4 inch angle shader. You can go larger or smaller depending on the size of jellyfish that you want to do. You could also use a flat brush. You can either use white acrylic or a gouache. So I'm using a white acrylic today, and I've popped it just on a lid, and I'm going to dip my brush into the water, and I'm picking up the paint on the corner of my brush, and that's really important that the paint doesn't go all the way across your brush. Then I'm going to stroke it backwards and forwards in the same spot at least 8 to 10 times. That way the paint starts to creep across the brush, but it's still not on this part of the brush. So here with my jellyfish, I'm going to just start. Now it is going to pick up a little bit of the watercolor that's already on there, and that's fine because we're going to come in with a layer of acrylic in a little while. But you see the lovely transparent effect that we get. I'm going to wash my brush. I'll show you that loading again. So it's water on the brush, a little bit of acrylic on the corner only. You can definitely go back to that spot. And just 8 to 10 times blending. So I'm just creating the top of the jellyfish at this stage. And we'll just a little bit of water on the brush. So I think we might be able to get 5 on here. I'm not sure what you call a group of jellyfish. And maybe just a bigger one down here. So this needs to dry. and we will see you soon. I'm going to do another layer on the jellyfish, and I'll speed it up for you so that you can watch it a little bit quicker. So I'm just using the side of the brush. It's the same kind of loading on the brush. Just little dabby strokes using the angle of the brush. See how lovely and transparent they look? Now we're going to use our script liner and finish off. Same loading on the brush. Alrighty, we're going to use our script liner again, and we need plenty of water this time. Make ourselves a little runny puddle. Remember, you can't do long fine lines without having almost a milky consistency. So I've got my puddle and just taking the excess off the brush, and I'm just going to start now doing the tendrils. I'm thinking about the currents of the water. So all the tendrils will be going along in the same direction. You'll notice how I'm holding my brush. I'm not using my hand close to the ferrule. I'm holding it some distance away, which will give me much looser brush strokes. Just bearing in mind always which jellyfish is behind and which is in front. So I've decided that I want to move a few of these jellyfish a bit more forward by increasing the whites on them. So that's what I'm going to do now, and I'm going to do it in exactly the same technique that I've been showing you, where I load my brush on the corner and just add more colour. So you can do these layers as many times as you like until you get to the opaqueness, I guess is the word, that you want. This one here, just that little bit whiter. And possibly this one here too, just a little bit lighter, which will bring them more forward. And again, just lightening up the bottom too. Just going to blend that out a little bit with a round brush. Okay, I'm feeling pretty good about this one. I'm just going to now use a white gel pen and just to add some more details to those tendrils. Okay, this is a Posca, just a uni Posca pen. You could use any gel taupe pen or acrylic pen. Just highlighting the front of the jellyfish a little bit. Now get a small brush, a little bit of water, and we're just going to soften back. Again, a little bit of water on there and just touching into that pen. This does work with gel pens too, just to take the sharp edge off. Not going to worry too much about the back ones. Going to quicken this up for you so that you don't have to watch me draw every tendril in real time. We'll just quicken the video for you. Okay, I'm going to give you some close-ups. I hope you've enjoyed watching me paint this one, transparent jellyfish. See how transparent they are? We still have lovely marks from the salt, which is lovely in the background. Sorry, you were a little bit out of focus there. So remember to keep it dark down the bottom, lighter towards the top. Keep those jellyfish transparent. I hope you've enjoyed watching. Don't forget to hit subscribe if you want to hear about future videos that I make. This is a lovely one to do, very experimental. What we used today was watercolour, a white acrylic or gouache, and either a gel pen or a Posca pen. Either of those would be fine. Very messy. See my hands? But I can go and wash those now and have a cuppa. Enjoy. Bye for now.